Good evening, and welcome to our Vampire the Masquerade Chronicle, ATL By Night, Chapter 3, House of Mirrors. Let's welcome back our vampires.
My name is Leona Rohr, and I'll be playing Tomasina Elena Cuesta.
Zachary Vaudo, playing Anton Krovoboskov.
Brittany Tranbauer-Smith playing Melisanda.
My name is Tyler Sutherland, playing Aaron Ulrich.
And I am your storyteller, Ellie Collins. As always, we want to give a big thank you to the Neighborhood Studio for giving us our wonderful home here. And so without further ado, let's sit back and relax, and let's tell a vampire story. When last we saw our kindred, they found an unusual setup in the Monaco staffing agency, a suspected Pentex company. They were caught by the CEO, who Jackson and Aaron incapacitated. But quickly, Anton discovered that he wasn't the only Gabriel Martel. In fact, there were 5 more in cold storage. Afterwards, they helped a Toreador elder from North Carolina get settled in and get her bearings in Atlanta over at Ponce City Market. And now, it's been a pretty uneventful couple of weeks. Everyone seems to have handled their jobs well, and tonight you've all awoken and are going about your personal evenings in your home. What would you like to do?
I'd like to not get hungry. And then I would like to just supply up for the evening. I don't know if we're going to go out or anything, but just replenishing. So I'm grabbing, replacing like the mirror that I used the last time, picking up one of the flasks that I had filled last month because they're from the cooler. And then I'm just going to, I'm gonna head up, and I'm gonna be doing some more exploring because haven't had a whole lot of time lately to search around the house since I got started with the school, and every time we were looking around the house we found something different. So I'm just on my way up looking for weird things, hidden things, stashes here and there.
It does appear like you have found everything in the house.
Okay, then yeah, head on up and out through the bookcase and following the bookcase just to see if there's any interesting books that I may have missed, and out into the house just to see who's up and around.
Okay, and who is up and around right now?
I am. Do not get hungry.
Wonderful.
When I get up, I'm thinking of texting Alejandro.
Okay.
And it's just a simple text saying, has it been enough time? When is the next time we can meet?
Okay. You will get a response.
Gotcha. And I'll head downstairs.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. Good.
I am going to be checking my accounts. We've had a couple of incidents in Atlanta over the last couple of months where it's just been very well-meaning kindred that have done a couple of things that Mills had to take care of, and I've had to do a little bit of cover-up now and again. It's not getting dire, I don't think, but I'm starting to keep an eye on the accounts to see exactly how much more this city can take in terms of anything I might need to paint differently.
Absolutely.
I did not get hungrier.
Wonderful.
And I'm in my room doing what I normally do, which is paperwork and checking in on the telephone and seeing if I need to make any action items, checking in to make sure Mark is in the home. And
He is not this evening. He has a stag night with his friends.
okay, fair enough. But yeah, I'm just doing what I normally do.
Wonderful. And so, Anton, you come up and you see Aaron coming downstairs, Thomasina hanging around, a face you haven't seen for a while. She's been quite busy.
I'll give a nod to Erin as he comes downstairs and look over. Welcome back.
I've been around, I swear. It's just been... It's business. It's just business. It's what I do. I take care of it.
Yes, I have been at the school very much, so is ships in night, yeah?
Yeah, you have been at the school a bunch.
Yeah?
How are you finding the itty bitties are doing?
Some are doing better than others. Some will need more time. The students that we took in, one is doing not so great, and the other is doing suspiciously well. But perhaps this is my bias.
I don't like either of those terms for that, but okay.
The Nosferatu is incorrigible and brash, but has not crossed lines yet. He just simply does not take to schooling very well.
Has he been able to meet with any other Nos there?
Only other students, to my knowledge, at this point. If he has met with others, then I do not know of it. Meanwhile, his friend Jackson, I would not call him star student, but he is passing. He is doing well.
Mm-hmm.
He is paying attention to lessons and has even done some in the field study with myself and Aaron and even Melisande. Well, Mel's not down here, but yeah, gesturing up the stairs.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He is very capable, and I am not sure what to make of it. But we had a very good lesson, I feel, on last outing.
Yeah?
Yes, the toreador that we picked up from the High Museum. I simply reminded him of the history of the High Museum.
And you would have been informed, Thomasina, that it was a Toreador elder who was a lone Camarilla living in a more heavily anarch area outside of Raleigh,
Mm-hmm.
Angelina. And she's set up at Pont City Market now. Tilly made sure that she got a house.
I figured if we had our suspicions, or if I had my suspicions, I should at least give this one the benefit of the doubt and a bit of a history on what happened here.
I'm more likely to... I'll say this. I like the fact that the Nos talked as much as he did.
Hmm.
I am, generally speaking, uncomfortable with the quiet ones. Was he that quiet with you?
Ish.
Hmm?
He was not exactly sharing much about me. He spoke with Erin very much, perhaps gangrel bonding, but he seemed to open up more at the prospect of not having to be in the school. But I took advantage of the quiet and I did the talking, as I tend to.
So Mel also had experience with him. Aaron?
Near as I can tell, he's a straight shooter, just doesn't like to engage much with others. Gets in, gets rough, and then gets out.
And that's the most talkative a gangrel can be, so thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
But yes, he did well, and now he knows the history of the Sabbat in Atlanta. So, if my suspicions are correct, then he is more informed of what he may be in.
He knew history of Sabbat without either of you filling in
Not
gaps?
necessarily. Not necessarily. If he is as new as we believe that he is, then he could be new recruit, and he may be buying into the pitch. So I simply gave the history lesson of more story. I could also be entirely wrong, but the suspicions from our meeting and then this strange note to the Primogen, and then what Sirius told us about the Sabbat visibility in Atlanta, it troubles me. So I gave the young one benefit of doubt. I want to do better than I did with Catherine.
I'm gonna turn back to my accounts.
Okay.
I'll speak up. It's a shame. You could have met him if you had come out a couple weeks ago.
I've already met him.
No, I mean, actually got to experience all of this, discover the things that we discovered, be out and about in the city,
Mm-hmm.
respond to my text messages, to hear about it.
You had people.
I did.
Mm-hmm.
You missed the birthday.
Did I?
Yeah. We had a pie and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, the birthday that I had on the 12th, that I had texted everybody hoping that they would come out, and Erin joined me, and then eventually Mel showed up, and nobody else replied. You didn't forget.
No one in my clan forgets an opportunity for someone else to be grateful to them.
What is it?
And here I was thinking that you had completely forgotten. And I hold up the tarot deck that has been gifted to me from Thomasina.
Wonderful.
Thank you. Julie.
The cloth is also very special. We can discuss that later.
Very well.
A truly thoughtful gift, Thomasina.
Now, I'm sorry I missed the pie. I am not sorry that I missed... That's a lie. I am sorry I missed it. I'm sorry that I wasn't more out and about. What I've been dealing with lately has been on paper, has been in terms of managing the accounts and accountability of a number of other kindred. And again, on paper, that is what I really love to do. I, however, do not feel that I've been using my skills the way that I would really like to use them. So yes, I do miss it.
How would you wish to use your skills?
My skills get to more of a hostage negotiation standard that I particularly miss. And in this case, it's much more, this person did this, clean it up, it's janitorial. And that's not something I am unused to, as much as you might think otherwise. But I would much rather solve a puzzle than simply clean up the scattered pieces.
Well, then perhaps you can use your position to solve puzzles, such as when Hicks told us that your fellow Harpy had Sirius's sire in her haven.
Yes.
This is a puzzle that we must solve, yes?
Been working on that myself.
And perhaps we can figure out things regarding these strange letters that we have not even begun to touch, and this Sabbat presence that Sirius encountered.
How is Dot post-election?
As far as I'm aware, she's using her position as much as anyone should. Is there any salient information about Dot that I have otherwise encountered?
She seems to be preoccupied with Nosferatu matters and coming in to assist when needed.
She's managing, and I would... Where's Hex?
With Dot, as far as I know.
Yeah. I always assume she's nearby, but at this
As
point...
do I.
She has not been here for quite some time. I assume that she is with Dot. I hope it is to learn more information as well, but I do not know.
I'm going to pull out my phone and text Mel.
Okay.
Just say, while we have a minute, could you please come down?
I was actually on my way down at that moment. So
You get the text and you're like, oh,
yeah,
perfect.
like I'm literally walking down the steps as she said that to me.
Hmm.
Oh, look who's in for the evening.
You've been in a couple more times than I thought you would be, actually.
Well, people have been behaving themselves, so
Have?
hasn't. Well, When I find out about it, they have been.
That's
So-
as it should be.
So, how's things?
They are potentially a little less complicated if we're absolutely sure that there's no Nosferatu presence in the building right now.
I'm just gonna go ahead and just go, and I will do sense the unseen to see if I can spy any hidden presences.
Nope.
Nope.
With your sense the unseen, you do catch what you think might be Cirrus going down the hallway, and probably think better of leaving him alone.
No Nosferatu.
We need to clear a little bit of air. As you brought up a while back, there is a particular fragrance to my having voted for Dot.
Yes. Bluntly speaking, both of you. Bluntly speaking, Hex as well, though I give her a bit more of a pass considering the circumstances of Hex.
The circumstances of Hex are the reason that I voted for Dot. I fully expect that Dot is going to use her own child. I fully expect that it's going to come to a very difficult set of circumstances for Hex, and I very much would like to keep any pushback away from her. The idea of a sire using their child is something that is not at all new. I need Hex to be supported. I need her to know that we're with her. And I don't necessarily think she believes us to have done otherwise, but we need to keep Hex on our side.
And so you wish to vote for Dot for Prince to keep Hex aligned with us.
Dot had a lot that I realized she was going to use as Prince anyway, and frankly, yes, there were elements of that I thought might suit a lot of purposes, very much including my own. However, more than anything else, her child is in our house. Her child is in our care. And I am not about to tempt making that relationship any harder than it already is.
And you?
I voted my conscience when I voted. I voted who I thought would best serve the Atlanta Camarilla, and I believed her words more than I believe what you guys think her intent to be. And as well as I know her, as long as I've been here, I still don't know her as well as you. So perhaps I was misguided in following what I thought to be my democratically appointed right. But if Hex is going to be in the way, then that certainly changes things.
And I don't blame you at all for voting your conscience there, especially when you care for the rest of the kindred community as much as you do, and you see someone with that kind of power, and you honestly believe that they will serve those people. You want that to be true. Anyone would. And even for me, the idea of someone having as much influence, as much power, and as much ingenuity as she does, the idea of putting that in a position of authority seems natural, seems right. But understand, I did not vote for her thinking that she was good. I simply voted for her thinking that she was useful and that I did not want anything worse to happen to Hex.
I'm going to look to Aaron. You heard the same things that I heard when we met her that night. You had the same or similar trepidations that I did, yes?
Oh yeah, I was ready to take a walk on the city just for a bit in case Dot sunk her claws in. She was talking some scary things about control, and I didn't like that. But she didn't win.
That's true.
No, she simply wound up in a position that is not normally checked or balanced. You have the benefit of 2 harpies, so there's some bit of check and balance, but typically it is one that is more self-managing.
And to have someone who is now embittered about the fact that they lost the prince election, go ahead and believe that that doesn't make things safer.
Oh, no. She is under less observation than she would be as prince.
Mm-hmm.
I do not think she minds whatsoever that she lost, because she still gained.
She did genuinely want to be prince. She genuinely did.
She did, but this still suits her.
It does.
Come with me, please, and I'm going to walk towards the library.
Okay.
Are you asking all of us to come?
I'm saying come with me, and then I'm walking away
Okay,
from
well
all
then
three of
I'm
you.
going to follow. So
Before we head to the library, I'm going to swing by the kitchen.
Okay.
Is the fridge still empty?
There are 2 bags in the fridge.
All right, I'm going to leave them there.
Okay.
Okay, just checking.
So I'm going to walk in, and I'm going to just circle the shelves, and I'm looking for a book, and I'll say, I appreciate all of your reasoning for why you made the choices that you did, and because of that, I wish to give you mine. And I'm going to pull the book on cryptography off of the shelf,
Okay.
particularly bigger book. I'm going to open it, and inside is going to look very familiar to Aaron, because it's going to look very much like the flowchart of Cirrus that I showed him, of just post-it notes filling the pages. And for anybody that looks at them, they're labeled dot. As you said, do not know dot quite as long as I have. I do not know dot as well as others do. But I will tell you what I do know. And I'm pointing to post-it notes. I do know that she admitted to our faces of rigging the election and being willing to rig the election just to make sure that Alejandro wouldn't win. Even if we wanted that, she admitted to being willing and already enacting an ability to undermine a process that the Primogen put in place to change this from how things were. We do not know other ways that she may have manipulated the election, and perhaps it is merely by the grace of the city that she did not win. She specifically stated wanting to take the Second Inquisition on directly, which this may not be much to you. Some of you may want this, but this open fighting is how they came here in the first place. And I personally do not wish this to happen. Her platform is based on many words when she spoke to us, such as control, under my boot. And I am very aware of this control methodology that she used in gathering her information to rebuild the information network that we now have in this city, Atlanta's version of ShrekNet. And I believe that she would rule this way as well. She explicitly stated wanting to rewrite the Venashari Constitution entirely based on her scope, which is something that you agreed to.
I do believe that it needs to be rewritten.
You also may forget that she waffled between how instrumental she was to creating the Atlanta Camarilla in the first place. It was either that Talbot made it up in a fever dream or it was a group effort. And she said this in the same conversation with us. The exact same conversation. That all of the Primogen together are the reason the Atlanta Camarilla exists. And at the same time, Talbot's work threw it at Olivia Grace to write like some kind of secretary. It cannot go both ways. If she wants to rewrite it, it is because she does not agree with it. And the other Primogen have exemplified how instrumental they all were in writing this document. So I am not keen to believe the slapdash creation story. I am keen to believe that she wishes to rewrite it because she was part of a group. And he's just going to keep going down the list, because I'll be here for a while if I do so all the notes of, nobody else could possibly take care of the Nosferatu if she is not the prince, outright saying that she would bend the rules, intentionally dodging the question of other Lestomber in the city that she knew of, using her position then to justify that she didn't have to explain why she dodged the question, and being willing to push Aaron closer to Alejandro to benefit the plan, to which I'll cap off with, even though you elected to do this of your own accord.
I do.
These are all things that I would like to point out. These are all things that happened in that singular conversation with all of us there. Mm-hmm. This is not extensive research. This is a conversation and my prior experience with her. And despite all of this, the votes fell where they did.
Aaron, your phone buzzes.
And this is why I am judgmental, and I will close the door, the book, and put it back on the shelf.
I'll check it.
It's Alejandro. It says it has been enough time. When are you free?
Later tonight.
Okay.
And this is why I am not comfortable with her in a position of power. Particularly the prince, but even now.
Here's what I'll say to that. If she had been prince, as you said, she would have been visible. Very powerful, but very visible.
Yes.
And now she is a harpy, along with me. And as you say, less visible.
Less visible, still powerful. Not enacting grand rules, but shaping the social mores of our society.
And maybe that was also a consideration. The idea of having her as prince, having her accountable to so many people that would want her attention, didn't not occur to me.
If we're really this concerned about a kindred at that level, this is something that has to be brought to the prince.
Or at least the other primogen.
If I thought that I could have deposed Dot Matrix, I would have by now. Despite the fact that, in spite of all of this, she is still my friend. She is simply a friend that I do not want holding mass amounts of power. And now she has it.
I also, as much as I have differences with the prince, I would not for 1 minute think that he is not aware of Dot. And I would believe that he put her as harpy because of what he knew.
I would certainly hope so. But
From
we should-
throughout the mansion, there is suddenly a loud knock from the front door, oddly, to the tune of Kill the Poor by Dead Kennedys.
It's at the front door.
Yes.
Anyone expecting someone?
No.
I want to roll wits inside to see if I recognize the tune.
You recognize it. Given your history, Anton, you definitely recognize it.
4 successes anyway. It's good. So it's gonna go. Are we expecting Bruja here?
I no.
We should not be expecting anybody here.
No.
I grabbed the gun that Cirrus lent me and backpocketed it.
I am going to go answer the door.
I'll follow, but I just wanted to make sure that we are all on the same page here.
Okay.
I'll be in the back of the group.
Okay.
I'll just open the door and just say, Shepherd's residence, how can I help you?
So when you answer the door, there's a person standing there. Average height, kind of punk femme aesthetic. Long black hair, leather jacket covered in graffiti paint that matches their black jeans with zippers and straps. But their posture betrays their outfit, as they are standing perfectly straight and proper and carrying a box briefcase that could easily be 1,000 years old. Good evening. We are here on behalf of the Camarilla. I am looking for Anton Kravopuskov, Aaron Ulrich, Thomasina Elena Cuesta, Melisande Lest Embrace, Cirrus Ibn Muhavara Beni Aftab, and one that I only have down as hexadecimal.
I'm gonna look over this one's shoulder after we to see if anybody's behind them.
And then I'm going to kind of shaggy it on the other side of him and kind of do the same thing.
There is no one behind this person.
May we ask who is inquiring?
Oh, goodness. Oh, you must be them. Wonderful. Who all is in the house tonight?
Most of us.
Who is missing?
Some.
May we please
I
ask?
must take roll.
May we ask who is inquiring? We are not used to people showing up at the house. We are.
You look very familiar.
I'm afraid I
And
don't
they're going to
recognize
turn
you.
to Thomasina and go, oh, Thomasina Elena Cuesta. Perfect. Wonderful. Okay, I'm at the right house. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. 4 out of... Okay. Well, unfortunate. I can count that. We can at least get started with half of our job then. And they push past you without another word into the house, walking straight to the living room. They set their briefcase down on a coffee table before sitting in the adjacent chair and opening it. Inside, you see an old clunky laptop, easily from the 90s, and a stack of file folders. They remove the laptop, power it on, take out a notepad and pen. Please come, sit.
The rest of you will hear Anton mutter something along the lines of "should have worded blah blah blah" as he walks over and says, "Please forgive me. The Camarilla of the city has placed us here without other knowledge, so
I don't believe that they said the city.
that is why I'm curious as to who you represent or who you are."
We are the council.
The council.
We are the council of the Camarilla. We are the auditors. We are here to audit your city's Camarilla.
The Camarilla.
Yes.
Not the Atlanta Camarilla, I see.
Yes, you are next on my schedule.
We?
We are the council.
You didn't want to, well, no.
And Thomasina, that name is overly familiar to you. You have been audited before. Years ago. In Cairo. You can't remember all of it, but you remember that you've been audited before.
Can I get you anything?
How very kind of you. No, we are fine.
Forgive me, I'm a curious sort. Is it rude to ask what you mean by we?
We.
Yes, I am seeing one and hearing plural, and I am curious.
It's royal.
My apologies, are you a childer?
No.
My list does not include fresh childer.
No, I was turned in 75.
Ah, wonderful. And Thomasina, everything about the cadence, the speaking, it's all ringing familiar, but you did not see the council last looking like this.
Mm-mm.
Last time you saw the council, they were a graying, elderly man in a horribly moth-eaten suit.
The council, I
Yes.
gather, is interested in the people here within for their roles within the Camarilla, is that correct?
Oh, this is to audit the entire city of Atlanta.
I'm gonna finally march up past everybody and sit down next to her because that's where she asked us to be. I'm going to sit down and say, I don't believe I've made your acquaintance. I'm Melisanda.
You are Miss Leston Brace. Wonderful.
That's
We
correct.
are the council.
I am happy to meet you. We are not the Camarilla of Atlanta. We are members.
You are the shepherds. Am I not correct?
You are.
Yes.
They know.
I
They know
see.
that we are not the collective,
I understand.
that we are merely representatives.
And,
Right.
You are a part. We will be auditing the entire city.
and we are first on your list.
No. You are 18th.
I see.
18th.
I see.
We will be going through the entire city. You were next on my list. I figured it is early in the evening, and as there are many of you.
To go ahead and get that out of the way. And I can only assume that you'll have to visit everyone else individually.
Yes, the process of auditing usually takes approximately 1 month.
Mm-hmm.
And you have gone through 18 people so far in an undetermined amount of time.
I've been here 48 hours.
I see. You all are very efficient.
There.
We do. Try our best.
And I will sit down in one of the chairs and
Looking at my sheet, I do believe... Why don't we go in alphabetical order? That sounds fun. Aaron,
Mm-hmm. That's me.
we'll get started with you. Everyone else, you may wait in a separate room. For the purposes of the audit, this does need to be private.
Are there lawyers?
Consider us as good as you're going to get.
3 of us are lawyers.
Great.
May I ask again for clarification?
3 of us are lawyers. 3 of us went to school, passed the bar exam, and got a law degree.
Where are these 3?
Oh, wait.
We.
Is this a wits insight sort of thing I should be rolling to try to read into the words?
Nope.
Okay.
We will wait outside. I'm just going to try and
And
usher both of them.
Thomasina, if you could please roll me, we'll call this, let's say, since they are the council, it will be wits and politics. As it has been a considerable amount of time since you've encountered them.
Yep.
Does anything like status factor into that or no?
Yes, please add one more die for your status.
That's the most I've ever rolled.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How many?
5.
5.
Mhm.
You do recall. It takes a bit of thinking about it and remembering the council was an old moth-eaten man last I saw them. The council is a generation of Malkavians that sire, train their childer, and when they are considered to be done with their training, they diablerize their sire. And so the council, when you met them, was 4 Malkavians.
And I was only 3.
No, now you have no idea how many this is.
Okay.
But there's enough that 3 of them were lawyers.
Yep.
So as I'm being ushered out the entire time, I was like, yeah,
We're gonna...
the library perhaps, or
Let's go to the kitchen.
Sure.
okay.
Yes. Is that? I don't know if that's private enough. I think maybe
It doesn't matter. Just believe me, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Sure.
Should we be contacting the?
No.
Okay.
Have fun.
We are going to talk. Aaron, just cooperate.
Sure.
I'm gonna pat him on the back, and then follow them.
Have fun. And yeah, I'm just racking his brain like like occult history, anything. Just going like, so what the fuck is this?
We're gonna kitchen.
Yeah, and he's walking.
Yeah.
Okay, and so everyone is in the kitchen?
Mhm.
Aaron, are you just sitting in the seat across from them?
I actually want to sit as close to the laptop as I can.
Okay. Okay. Wonderful. Yes, they're gone. All right.
Now it's just us.
Yes.
Mm.
It is for the best integrity. I do understand that some of you younger childer have a proclivity for coteries and friendships. So first, and they look to their laptop, and you can see they're ready to write. It looks like they're just filling out
Gotcha.
a standard questionnaire. What are the shepherds?
The shepherds tracked down Lost Childer.
And what are lost childer?
Lost Childer are individuals who were turned during the final nights from the Sabbat, or just turned Childer.
And what is your job?
My job is to assist with finding the Lost Childer.
Wonderful. How do you feel about this job? Please maintain pure honesty.
I find it fulfilling.
Do you feel your talents are serving the tower appropriately?
No, I have more talents that could be used.
Such as?
I have a ability to be more subtle than most gangrel.
I will note this. And what of the prince? He has been in power for exactly 87 days now. What are your opinions? As he is one of your clan.
The city is still up and running. That is better than the last prince.
These are facts. What is your opinion?
I am proud that a gangrel is keeping up appearances in politics as well, better than I could imagine.
Thank you. And how did he claim power? We have a empty spot in our records for this. Was it by practice, or was he gifted this by the previous predecessor?
I don't know the intricacies of the politics. I know there was a vote
A vote. Most unusual. I will notate that. Thank you. Our records indicate that the previous prince was a Talbot Rourke. It appears that he did meet an untimely demise, but we have no indication how. Since you have been given a position by the current prince, are you aware of how Talbot Rourke passed?
Yes,
You do not need to use gossip, only facts.
sure. He betrayed the Camarilla.
Most disturbing. What did he do?
You know, I don't really know. I thought there was some kind of interference from outside the Camarilla. And next thing I know, he's not our prince anymore.
Okay, thank you. And you see them start typing pretty furiously. Go, don't mind me. One moment. I am making a pending investigation form. Thank you. That is yes, it's a form G783. All right. Sorry, next question. The new court positions have a Bruja as a keeper and a Thin Blood as the sheriff. What is that? What is your opinion on that?
I'm not on the court and don't have an opinion.
You have an opinion as a member of this city.
I think that they show a representative of power and trust that we've given them.
Wonderful. Do you feel that this is a bias given that your prince is a gangrel?
I think that's a loaded question.
My apologies. We will reword. Do you think there is a bias towards the clans that do not typically function within the Camarilla, as your city is in quite an unusual situation?
No, I don't think that there's favoritism.
Thank you. Now, I just have a few personal questions. It helps us build out your profile for future audits. Let's see here. Let's see. Do you know who your sire is?
Yes.
What is their name?
Isaac Ulrich.
Thank you. A father?
No.
Okay. A brother?
No.
Your last name is Ulrich.
When I was turned, he gave me his last name.
Understand. Let's see. What do you think personally makes you an asset to the tower?
I have a ability to see a situation that most gangrel would take a direct approach to.
Do you feel this is tied in with your forensic background?
Yes.
Thank you. What do you think you could improve about your status with the tower?
I could be more involved in politics.
I will get a performance plan written up for that. And lastly, for now, what do you feel that we, as the tower, could improve?
Communication.
Can you expand upon that?
It would be more helpful if Camarilla cities communicated with each other.
Intercity communication. I will take this feedback. And thank you. That is all the questions I have for now. If you would like to send in your next person.
Who do you want next?
Alphabetically, that would be Anton.
Yep. I will leave quickly.
Storyteller?
Yes.
Just because I didn't want to interrupt the scene, would anything have happened if Anton turned on heightened senses when they went into the kitchen to try to hear what was going on in this conversation?
You would have heard a very loud static that would have been very painful for your ears.
Okay. We'll do that later. Okay, yeah, had 3 successes on that, so like when we get into the kitchen, at the beginning of this we go into the kitchen, I'll start to tilt my head and then just, no.
I told you, just let it happen.
What is this?
It's exactly what they said. It's an audit.
You keep saying they. Why do you keep saying they? Why does she keep saying they?
Because there are more than one. This is not a royal we.
Like, okay, is that how they got 18 people within 48 hours, or
How many Malkavians have you dealt with before?
plenty?
How many times have they absolutely told you that they are not alone?
Many times, but usually this is the supposed network of Malkavians
This
all over the
is
place.
so compounded.
Please, I am already very confused from dealing with them. Please speak plainly.
Would there be any consequence for me revealing the nature of the council to them?
No, there is
Sweet.
no consequence.
All right. What is the only thing that you think could really put someone else in your head?
I can think of several things, but I think I understand what you imply.
Uh-huh. Now do that over and over and over. Since the beginning of the White Tower.
You have met this person before previously.
I have met whatever is the interior set of nesting dolls within that person.
Nesting dolls. Does this make any sense to you?
No, but if they are here to judge us on the Camarilla, we are screwed.
Go ahead and bet that they are vaults of information.
This is a person that has
Eaten a person who has eaten a person
Diablerized.
who has eaten a person.
that has diablerized a.
Souls, essentially.
This is.
This is
You're telling me that the Camarilla has sent a legion to audit
this is
us?
a Dantean turducken is what this is.
We are supposed to, and we are speaking to the Camarilla,
Yes.
the worldwide Camarilla, about,
Yes.
about the state of the Atlanta Camarilla.
Yes. And they are curious about what's going on, as they should be. When you have a city that is undergoing the number of different shifts that we are undergoing, of course it's going to draw their attention.
Well then,
Do
we will want to be proper Camarilla representatives, do we not, then?
Correct.
As the Camarilla should be,
And I walk in.
and not as a. I'm going to pantomime like writing, not as a. If you understand, if this is the case,
Do you understand?
I understand
And
that.
he walks in and I'm going to motion to him, and then I'm going to motion to myself, and I'm going to motion back to him, and I'm going to motion back to myself.
Yes.
It's time to tag team.
Okay.
Anton, you're up.
Cooperate.
Okay. Okay, and I'm gonna look at Melanska. And I don't know what you said, but the document does not exist, and I'm walking
Oh
out.
God.
I'm walking out to the council.
And the council is sitting there waiting? Yes. Mr. Kovalpuskov, please sit down.
Yes, thank you. Also, thank you for getting my name correct.
Of course, we get it correct every time.
So I've heard. Miss Elena Cuesta has informed me. I apologize for my confusion.
That is okay. Everyone's first audit is always the hardest.
I'm surprised it has taken so long. I've been here 45, 46 years.
Fortunate for you. We function in a global manner, and audits can take roughly 1 month to 6 months depending on the size of the city.
And there are many, many cities.
So many Camarilla cities, we are quite proud.
And I imagine that the events of the last couple of decades may have slowed the process a bit.
Oh, not at all. We changed our process to process damage reports in all the cities following the final nights. Once damage reports were complete, we returned to auditing.
I'm surprised I did not meet you then.
I was aware of your name. The tower appreciates your sacrifices. Thank you for your service.
You are welcome.
Now, let's begin.
Yes.
What are the shepherds?
We are a coterie that was assembled by the Primogen Council and the Prince to bring lost childer that were abandoned over the past 20 years into the Camarilla.
Thank you. What is your job?
What I've just said, I'm a shepherd. I'm one of this group who performs this job, and I go out with the others and I find lost children that are reported in either by the Primogen or by representatives within the city, and we bring them in to be initiated properly.
Your group is not a sanctioned tower process, so we must understand it. As a Tremere, do you have specific duties as a Tremere?
I do not have specific duties. I have skills that I offer, but I have not been
Thank you, that's enough.
assigned any of this.
How do you feel about this job?
I'm helping to rebuild the city that I watched burn.
A noble one.
I'm grateful for the job.
Wonderful. Do you feel your talents are serving the tower appropriately?
I am rebuilding the city that I watched burn, yes. I feel I am serving the tower appropriately.
Thank you. And what of the prince? He's been in power for 87 days now, so what are your opinions?
I think that he also will rebuild the city properly. I am very much a supporter of him. I was not always, but I am.
And why were you not previously?
I had not known him.
You had trepidations about a prince, though you did not know them.
I had met him very briefly. I had a first impression. I got to know him. I had a better impression.
Was this before or after he was prince?
Before.
Thank you. And how did he claim power? Was it praxis, or was he gifted this position?
He took power following the fall of the previous prince.
Yes, we have that down as Talbot Rourke, though the details about his demise are unclear. Can you please illuminate that?
About how he died or why he died?
Both would be preferable.
He attempted to usurp the Primogen Council and replace them of his own accord, and did so enlisting the efforts of La Sombra from around the city. When we aided in the recovery of the Primogen Council, they declared his treason, which was very present at this point, as that is not the position of the prince to completely usurp the Primogen. That is the clan's position, if I am correct. And
Treason is an executable crime.
and they ordered his execution over it.
Thank you.
And then the prince had the ability to step into the position, and it was unopposed.
I have received notes that there was a vote. Can you please explain that?
The Primogen Council agreed that this prince who took power should not be opposed. None of them wished to oppose his claim.
Understand. What was the vote?
It was an agreement among the Primogen that this person who took power.
So the Primogen voted on who should become prince.
The Primogen cast votes on if they should oppose this prince or if they should allow this claim for power.
Thank you.
It happened.
Thank you. The new court contains a Bruja as a keeper and a Thinblood as a sheriff. With a Gangrel prince, do you think that there is favoritism towards the outer clans?
No, there is a representative of nearly every clan on the court. I think it is rather diverse by comparison.
So you feel it is a noble endeavor to make sure to have voices of every clan?
I think for a city that is rebuilding itself, yes, as many voices as possible.
Thank you. Now, just for some personal questions, these are just for building out your profile. Do you know your sire?
Yes,
Who?
Dr. Liam Carter.
I have Dr. Liam Carter for an appointment on Thursday, so thank you. I will make sure to mention that.
Yes.
Now, follow-up question. Do you feel that you are properly serving the tower?
I do not
To the best of your personal abilities?
I do not understand the question.
Not as a shepherd, as a Tremere, as Anton Kruvopuskov. Are you serving the tower to your fullest abilities?
That is a bit of a strange question considering the reputation the Tremere tend to have with the tower.
I'm aware.
In which case I would say yes.
Thank you. I do have notes here that you were more than instrumental in the final nights. How have you recovered?
If I may ask, those notes are not widely known.
We are the council.
I really thought I would have met you if that were the case. What was the question again?
I'm sorry, you seem flustered.
As I said, the fact that there are notes is surprising, as it was not typically widely spread information.
We are not widely spread information. We are the information.
This is fair. I apologize for my confusion. May you please repeat the question?
How have you recovered since the final nights?
Slowly.
Understandable? Do you feel that the tower could be doing more to aid in your recovery?
That is a very unusual question.
These are merely questions. I have no opinions on them.
Aid how?
That is for you to decide. This is a personal census. This is only your feelings and emotions.
No, I do not think that there is more that could be done. I think that what is done. And
You think the tower has supported you sufficiently or insufficiently?
I think that by being given a chance to help rebuild this city, I am being supported sufficiently, as I am being given a chance to rebuild what was unmade.
Thank you.
Not many people have that option.
Thank you. And what do you think personally makes you an asset to the tower?
Do you have all your notes? Yes?
This is your personal opinions and feelings, once again.
I am willing to do the work that is necessary to support this city's Camarilla and rebuild this city, whatever it may take.
Thank you. And how do you think you can improve?
That may be a better question for my Primogen.
I will make sure to add that to my notes. And last question for now. How do you feel about the current status of the tower, and how can we personally improve?
I apologize, this is not a question I thought I'd be asked at any point. I was not aware that this was a...
There are no consequences for opinions. Please feel free to speak freely.
evolution.
Evolution. Can you explain?
The Sabbat rose up for a reason when they did. They attacked because they indoctrinated themselves against the Camarilla as it stood. I believe that learning from this and evolving past the things that they were able to point to and galvanize others behind would improve the Camarilla's strength over time.
Thank
And
you.
make it unable to happen again.
Thank you. I am just filing a form, more thorough Sabbat investigation, especially since Atlanta was a bit of a hotbed. Thank you. That's all I have for now. If you could send in, is Mr. Benioff home?
If he is, I have not seen him.
Okay, then you will send in Miss Hexadecimal.
Also, not available.
I will
unfortunately.
check with her sire on
But
that
then
one.
you would want Miss Melisande if you were counting down the alphabet.
Fantastic. Please send in Madam Keeper.
Yes, pleasure to make all of your acquaintance.
Thank you.
I'll stand up and... If you please give me a second.
Have I encountered these people ever?
Unfortunately, you have never been in the right place at the right time.
Isn't that special?
Unfortunately.
Isn't that special?
I rolled a 1 on my willpower, so I'm going to stand up and start to walk, and then I'm going to sit back down again and go, I apologize. I have many questions about this process, having learned what I've learned, and
You may file all follow-up questions in writing.
including questions about the council.
Yes,
Who would I submit it to?
your Primogen.
Very well, thank you. And stand up again and go to the kitchen.
So I might have let slip about a vote. I didn't say.
You cooperated.
Oh, okay.
Aaron, I'm not worried about you.
And
As someone who always loves the talkative ones, do you want to know why I love the talkative ones? They talk. All the information that you could possibly want pours out of them unprovoked. You're not the one I'm worried about.
at that point, Anton will walk in. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm not supposed to be in the Camarilla, so there's no way for me to fake this.
I mean,
No.
neither is he, so
It's...
you're fine.
Like I said, cooperate. Just cooperate.
So then tell them the whole truth?
Just...
You
You never played cards with me, have you?
I'm not really one for, lying.
Only put down what they ask, no more.
Yes, otherwise apparently they ask you about the vote that happened. One that the Primogen had to oppose or allow for the prince to take power.
Understood.
Wonder how they got that information.
So elegant an answer.
You're up.
Okay. I'm going to gather myself and head in there. And I'm going to extend my hand.
And they reach out and shake your hand.
I'm going to shake it and tell them that I'm happy to meet them and how can I help?
And that is where we are going to take our break. So we will be right back in a little bit. We will see you guys in roughly 5 minutes. have taken a seat across from the council?
Sure have.
Okay.
And I have extended my hand, and she is, or they have shaken it.
Mm-hmm. And so they go, hello, yes, I do apologize that this is our first time meeting.
I am glad that I get the opportunity, even if it is later in my life.
Thank you, Madam Keeper. We would have found you eventually.
I'm sure.
Okay, so let's just get started. What are the Shepherds?
We are a group, we are a coterie of diverse kindred who are helping to save some of the childer in the city who have been left behind after the final nights.
These are what are called the Lost Childer?
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you. And what is your specific job in this coterie?
We work collaboratively. We don't have a structure in that way.
Thank you. How do you feel about that job?
I have been with a lot of groups,
Mm-hmm.
and this has been the one I have found the most harmony with, and I am proud of the work that we do.
Thank you. And how do you feel about this potentially interfering with your job as keeper? Do you feel that it interferes?
I do not feel that it interferes. I have spent many, many decades learning to multitask, both in a political sphere and a clandestine sphere, and I feel as though that I'm capable of handling whatever task is thrown at me.
Thank you. And did the previous keeper leave you any instruction as to how to be a keeper?
They left paperwork that I was able to review. As I understand it, the job turnover is something that is trainable kind of as you go. And I felt very much as when I had my opportunities to speak with the keeper previous to me becoming one, that I was able to glean a lot of how the job was done.
So you feel you were appropriately prepared for this task?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. What are your opinions of the prince? He has been in power for 87 days now. How do you feel he is faring?
I have been impressed, actually. Very impressed.
And how do you feel working for him?
Glad to work for him. He has treated me fairly. He has given clear instruction. And so far seems as though he has the city's best interest at heart, which is what matters most.
Thank you. And if you will pardon our brashness, do you feel with your position as a Bruja keeper and a thin blood that is the sheriff and a gangrel that is the prince, do you feel that the prince has a favoritism towards outer clans?
Not at all. I believe that we were simply the best for the job.
Thank you. And let's see here. How did he claim power? Was that praxis or was it gifted to him?
At the former prince passed, and therefore he took power.
Yes, we have that as Talbot Rourke.
Correct.
And by took power, how did he take power?
He was. It was voted on by the Primogen.
Thank you.
Yes.
And so with Talbot Rourke's demise, how did he die?
He was found to be treasonous.
And treasonous is executable?
Correct.
Thank you. And so the execution was carried out public or private?
Do you mean public as in, can you explain? What
My
you mean? I'm
apologies.
sorry.
With your age, I figured you were familiar with public executions. I wanted to check, is his execution something that the pedestrian members of the Camarilla of this city were able to witness, or was this only among the council? I'm unsure when you took your position.
It was only among the council.
Okay, and was this while you were on the council, or did you become keeper with the new prince?
I was acting on an official capacity at the time.
So the shepherds were an official role at the time of the execution of Talbot Rourke.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. And let's see here. I just have a few personal questions, if you don't mind, Madam Keeper. Do you know your sire?
I do.
What is their name?
Rodriguez Hortales.
Thank you so much. Familiar with that name. Do you feel that you have a connection with your sire?
Very much so.
Do you feel that that affects you in any way?
As much as anybody's parent can affect them.
Understandable. We are very close with ours. Do you feel that you are properly serving the tower in your capacity?
Considering that what is best for the kindred of the city of Atlanta is what I am here to do, I can't imagine a more noble cause for the tower.
Fantastic, thank you. And what do you think makes you personally an asset to the tower?
My many years of experience in politics, my ability to democratically handle most situations, and my respect for those who have more experience than I do.
Thank you. How do you think you can improve?
Well, we all can improve, but I would like to learn more about the people and practices that I don't know about. And I think I could do better. If I had a higher role in the council, I would be able to do better to really generate community. I feel like we are very close in this Camarilla, but I would like it to be a more close community.
Okay. I am just going to file a couple forms for you real quick. These are going to be, as you are the keeper, I'm going to request you have access to all databases property of one dot matrix. As keeper and wishing to improve upon information, this feels appropriate. And as to your other point, I have notated it in writing in your file. And last in this section, how do you feel that we, as the tower, can improve?
I don't really have much to say because I'm very happy with how the Camarilla is in Atlanta.
Thank you. And now just for some follow-up questions regarding your keeper status.
Sure.
You currently manage all Waffle Houses.
Yes, that's
in
correct.
Atlanta.
That's correct.
And they are all Elysium.
Waffle House Waffle House of Georgia as a corporation is the entity that is Elysium.
And I see that it has also been designated neutral ground, involving mages, changelings, Garu, and the like. Even wraiths. So, do you feel, as keeper, that you have been given the proper equipment to deal with non-kindred matters inside Elysium?
Given the fact that I very much trust my scourge and my sheriff, and I'm fairly equipped myself, yes, I do think so.
And to make sure that I am being understood, for example, I have some scenarios here. I'll just choose one. Let's say a Garu and a mage got into a scuffle in a Waffle House. Do you feel you could appropriately handle that situation?
If it required my handling, I could.
Thank you. We always want to make sure that our keepers are stalwart.
Of course.
All right, and final question, just because you mentioned wanting to go higher within the council, would you like for us to inquire about this with your prince, or is this a personal journey?
If I have the opportunity, as I have now, to have counsel and speak with him, for now that is sufficient, and I am very happy at his willingness to listen to my points of view.
Wonderful. One moment. We are sending a calendar request for a one-on-one. We'll call it 4 months' time. That way you have a 6-month performance review.
That sounds great.
Thank you. You are done. If you could please send in Miss Elena Cuesta.
I will. And Mel's going to stand up and brush herself off. Stand there a second and turn around and walk in. You're up, kid.
And Tom's just been playing with the tarot deck that Thomasina got him.
And I'm going to go ahead and walk straight in.
And I'll pull the card as she walks in.
What card have you pulled, Anton?
I'll show it to the others. Hanged Man. Reversed. Has to do with indecision and crossroads and inability to change.
That makes a lot of sense.
No, it doesn't.
I certainly hope it doesn't.
Council.
Miss Elena Cuesta, it is wonderful to see you again. If you don't mind, please have a seat.
Of course.
And once you have a seat, something changes in the eyes for a moment. The eyes flick to a green that is a little more familiar. And a voice comes out. Hello, darling.
Sir.
Glad to see you for your second audit. I will be doing your questionnaire. Please do not mind. I figured this might be more comfortable for you. If you wish to speak to 9, you can do so.
If it makes you more comfortable for me to use the accent you last heard, then I can certainly accommodate.
Wonderful. We are walking down memory lane here.
Yes.
All right. So what are the shepherds?
The shepherds are tasked with finding the lost childer of Atlanta and returning them to the core, so to speak.
Thank you, love. What is your specific job in this group?
It is a collaborative effort. I find that I am more of a negotiator than most people would otherwise put themselves forward to be.
A noble task. How do you feel about this job?
I feel that it is a new position that should be adopted elsewhere.
Understandable. So you feel that the concept of the shepherds should be shared around.
I think that anywhere that the final nights hit particularly difficultly, it should be considered.
I will pass along this feedback real quick. Thank you. All right. Do you feel that you are serving the tower appropriately in this capacity?
I believe that within what the tower last expected, yes. Within what the tower currently expects, and then some.
Thank you, love. Let's see here. What of the prince? He has been in power for 87 days now. What do you think of him?
I think that he is deeply resourceful.
And that is where it ends?
For now, I would not wish to give a judgment of him that is only on 87 days.
I remember you as more verbose last time. My apologies. And how did he claim power? Was it praxis, or was he gifted this position by a predecessor?
To be completely honest, it was a vote.
What kind of a vote?
Select few.
Were you aware of these select few as you have a council position?
Yes.
And who are these select few?
Primogen.
Thank you. Our records indicate that the previous prince, Talbot Rourke, he met an untimely demise. How was that and why?
I think it was extremely timely.
A negative opinion of the previous prince. I will notate that.
And of those who may have influenced him.
In your storied experience, ma'am, do you feel that there should be an investigation as to influences in Talbot Rourke?
Should be investigations into influences of princes and how we establish power.
Thank you. All right. Let's see here. And so we do have record indication that Talbot Rourke was treasonous and thus was executed. Was this a private execution or a public one?
It was very select.
Was this while you were on the council as Harpy or during your time as a shepherd?
Prior to, while I was shepherd.
Were you witness to it?
Yes.
Thank you. Do you feel it was carried out appropriate to how the tower demands?
Yes.
Thank you. Given that you are a Ventru, there is a Bruja keeper, a thin blood sheriff, and a Gangor prince. Do you feel that the new prince has a proclivity or favoritism towards the outer clans?
I think that the new prince serves the same things that the Camarilla has always embraced, and that is resourcefulness.
Thank you, love. So you feel that this Bruja and this thin blood are resourceful?
They are gifted, and those gifts are applied appropriately.
Thank you. And now I just need to update the personal questions on your file. Are you still in contact with your sire?
Yes.
I will notate your special situation. Do you feel that the contact that you have with your sire affects your ability to perform for the tower?
If I let it?
And have you let it?
No.
Thank you. What do you think personally makes you an asset to the tower at this time?
My sire selected me because he thought that I was as regular a Ventru as he could have hoped for. He was unstudied, undisciplined. I did not imagine for a moment what I would actually bring to the tower. What I bring is resourcefulness. What I bring is a recognition of talent where I see it.
You find yourself to be a talent scout now.
I find myself to appreciate talent where I find it and to suggest it be applied where it may best suit.
Thank you. How do you think you can improve?
200 years has taught me that there's always learning to do.
Are there specific avenues that you would like to learn that we can give you access to, Madam Harpy?
I would like to know more of my clan within Atlanta.
History of the Venture. I will see to it that those files are obtained for you. Would you like to do this with or without the permission of Ventru Primogen Tabitha Hernandez?
Without.
Without. Thank you. Anonymous information request. All right. And last one in this section. How do you feel we're doing as the tower? How can we improve?
The tower is growing, as it should. The tower, as I have established well and truly through this whole conversation, is in need of resourcefulness and in need of growth. It has, in the past, narrowed itself to a particular avenue.
I will notate that you think we need a more aggressive recruitment style.
A broader one, certainly.
Thank you so much. And now for just questions about your time as Harpy, if you don't mind. I see that you are also working with Nosferatu Primogen Matrix. How do you get on?
She is very good at her job.
Do you have any concerns about your ability as the Harpy?
None whatsoever.
Thank you. That is wonderful to hear. All right. Let's see here. Is there anything that would make your job as the Harpy easier?
Always a question of resources.
What kind of resources do you feel would help?
At the moment, there is a heavy hand into which most information goes in this city. And I may apply for it myself, but it is still roughly in the hands mostly of Primogen.Matrix.
So you would like access to the information network that the Nosferatu manage?
If insofar as I can do so without interrupting them.
An anonymous information access. We will rule that that is a fair request, as your other Harpy is of the Nosferatu. If you were both of non-Nosferatu clans, that would be inappropriate, but both Harpies must be able to do the job to their fullest abilities. All right. And last question. Given that this is your second audit, how do you feel about it?
Terrified.
We always love to hear that. And, all right. Do you feel that you will be staying in Atlanta permanently?
No.
We will see you on the road then. Thank you, Miss Elena Cuesta.
Thank you. And I'm gonna head back to the kitchen.
And as you get up to head back, the council stands. Just says, we will process the information and we will be in touch for follow-ups. You have all handled your first and second audit quite well. We just have to complete the Haven examination and then you'll be done.
This is loud enough to be heard from the kitchen?
Yes, she's
Okay.
just calling out to you.
Okay. The Haven examination?
Yes. As this Haven was a gift from the Primogen in your service, we have to make sure that it meets requirements. I will allow 5 minutes. We have decided is fair.
Okay.
We will give 5 minutes to hide anything such as unmentionables, alcohol, drugs, things of a personal nature that you might feel embarrassed to let another person see about you. We feel it is fair to allow kindred their privacy, as we are only expecting the grounds and the building integrity. So we will give you 5 minutes, and you see the council just sit down and perfectly still, and their eyes just go very slack. And you hear 300, 299,
Very well. And I will walk
298.
towards the library and just I'm pushing onto the thing to open the bookshelf without a word and just going downstairs, down through the now cleared out walkway, cleared out of all of the plastinated statues that we had there.
Okay, and so for sake of brevity, you will each tell me what it is that you wish to hide or cover up, and then you will make appropriate rolls for it.
There's so much.
Anton, what will you be aiming to hide?
So the first thing I'm doing is as I'm walking through, I'm making sure like the medical door is closed and I don't have to worry about the statues there. Go downstairs and I'm going to hide pretty much any resource like ritual resource, ritual text,
Okay,
and all of the flasks that I've made.
okay. Thomasina, you're hiding nothing? Okay, Anton, for yours, please make me, we'll consider it dex and larceny, as you're trying to hide quite a number of items.
Okay. 1 success.
You're able to get a good bit of it
Yeah.
before, but you are stressing about the time. You're able to get maybe about half hidden what you wanted.
If I'm stressing about the time, then I'm going to focus on the flasks and the texts and leave items out.
Okay. Mel.
I am going to hide the copies of the Garu,
The treaty.
the treaty, copies of any correspondence I've had with the Primogen for the most part, and obviously the copy of the Atlanta Camarilla. I don't think I have anything else. I'm going to hide my phone.
Okay.
Phone's on me.
Yeah. My phone was on me too, but I'm gonna
Yeah.
think to put it away.
So make me dex and larceny.
Okay. Oh, cool.
Same.
So Dex.
2! I got a 2! I got 2 out of 2! That's good, right?
That
Yeah.
is very good.
Yeah.
You're able to hide them sufficiently.
Okay.
Is one of those situations of as long as she doesn't look in that drawer.
Yeah, okay.
And Aaron, are you trying to hide anything?
Just the, well, I guess as a quick note, is the portrait of Mooney still hanging up?
Yes, it is.
I am booking it upstairs.
Speaking of book,
Well, that is where the your room is anyway.
Oh, yeah. Very important book that needs to be given as well. Yeah, it was on my list of many things. I only
Okay.
have 2 hands.
Okay, and so will you be hiding the book or are you going to put it on your person?
I'm going to put it on my person.
Okay, and as for the portrait of Mooney, what are you intending to do with it?
Burn it! No, I'm just kidding. Don't burn it.
Just trash it. She asked us to trash anything of hers.
Oh, yeah.
It's just
Whoops.
it's just garbage.
Good job,
now.
guys.
Okay, so let's call that strength and brawl. To utterly trash that portrait.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sarah,
You're good.
You know, we got plenty of. You got all those. Take all
There
those
we go,
dice,
there we
dude.
That's a lot. 5.
5. You are able to pull the photo down, or the portrait down from the wall, and it is an actual oil painted canvas, so you can easily rip it to shreds.
Yeah.
Storytelling. You said like what my all these actions are taking pretty much the entirety of the 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Would I have time? Would I have had time to send a text message to this group in that time while I'm hiding things?
I would say yes.
As like halfway through, and we'll account for why I only was able to hide half my stuff. I'm going to stop and mass group text them. Hex in Sirius's room
Oh, hell.
and send.
Wait, how much time do we have?
5 minutes.
Jesus Christ.
3 minutes
Okay.
now.
I would bet for.
So I was done quickly.
Thomasina's
I'm
not
gonna-
hiding anything.
No,
So.
I'm going. I know. I'm just like. I'm going
So
to
are we like
excuse
shuffling
myself.
all around, making a bunch of
Yeah.
noise? Okay.
Can I excuse myself? I'm very sorry.
They are not paying
They're
attention.
just
Excellent.
counting.
Great. And I'm
Benny
going
Hill
to
music is
just.
playing.
I'm going to,
Yeah.
I'm going to run over to Mel and just be like,
185.
I'm not wasting my time with Sirius's room. That boy packs and leaves. Hex's room now.
And so I'm gonna throw the papers up. Nothing I had in my hands was
Yeah.
actually anything, but just dramatically throw up the papers and come with you like.
Right. And Hex's room. What's there?
In Hex's room, it is a tech nightmare.
Of course it is.
Tons of computers, hard drives, screens.
Oh God.
It looks
Oh,
like a
no.
Matrix control center.
Oh God.
Are they all?
Can we
are
can we
they
just
off
kill it
or-
all? Can we just kill
They're
it?
all off.
Okay.
I'm gonna text back Anton and be like, any fridge magnets?
I'll just say, if they're on, turn them off. And that's it.
Okay. I was like, all right. And so I'm just gonna unplug stuff. She's gonna hate me, and I'm very sorry, but I'm just
Okay.
gonna ripping out cords.
Just from the wall.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I want
as
to
that is
crash screens, but I can't.
As that is a simple task, we'll allow it.
And
But can she
Yeah.
plug them back
You
in?
would've gotten the same
Can
text
they
as
plug
Susan.
them back in? Is the
Will.
question.
Probably, but that's for later. And I'm just gonna head back down and go. I'm just. Sorry,
And the
there's a lot of
rest-
noise. I wanted to make sure they weren't really hurting anything.
The rest of my time, book it to Sirius's room.
Okay?
What do I see?
Oh Jesus Christ!
no.
Oh God.
Nothing. It is plain.
Yep.
Close the door.
It is a plain bedroom.
Close the door.
Okay.
He never needs to know I even looked in his room.
And then I'm gonna. So how far along are we at this point?
If you're Scooby-Doo running through this house, you can hear that you have about 30 seconds.
I'm gonna group text ponies/vehicles? Question mark.
There's no time. That's what I'm texting back.
Looking at that text, being the fact that my part of the haven is downstairs, like downstairs, do I have time to get to the horses? I mean, I'll wind up being out of the house, but do I have time to get to the horses?
You will, through that back door that goes up the hatch into the barn, you can get in there. But you are on borrowed time now.
I'm gonna text them. Tell them I'll meet them outside, and I'm going to the horses, just to check on them, see what the hell's going on.
They're there.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Do they appear any different from like how we've known them, or do they look more like horses, or are they still like goopy and stuff?
Make me...
Oh no!
What's an awareness?
Next time we're just gonna give him some blankets, just throw them over.
What's an awareness, or am I looking for like occult stuff with them?
Don't they okay?
What's an
They
awareness?
disappear when they're not around us.
It's an 8, messy, critical.
Whoa!
You are so aware.
What else am I?
So you're looking at the horses and you become very hyper fixated on them because they are completely solid.
Nice.
Something about them is completely solid to the point where you run up to your horse, grabbing its face out of surprise that you can grab its face and it's solid and you can hold it, and then the horse clamps down on your hand.
My horse clamps down on my hand?
Yep.
Right.
Please take 1 superficial damage. That is a horse bite.
Yep. Messy criticals do that. Okay.
You did just grip a horse by the mouth.
So you were basically like
Messy criticals.
having a trip with the horse.
Messy criticals do that, but I
they're-
confirm that they look like horses.
But their eyes are still solid white.
Let's go. I can work with this. And I'm going to, since I sent my text message, I'm going to slowly, from the stables, walk back towards the house. In case they come and intercept
Okay.
me.
And so, you guys hear 10, 9,
We're gonna
8,
shuffle all back into the
7,
living room.
6,
Sit down.
Not
5,
me, yeah.
4, 3, 2, 1. Fantastic, thank you. And they are going to stand up. And this is your home. I will allow you to take me through whatever pathway you feel is most efficient.
I'm not back at the front door by the time they...
I'm just gonna look at
There we
Mel and just say, let's start with the kitchen and then the library.
Absolutely.
Okay. And so I will make the wits awareness rolls for the council. Okay, that is 12 successes.
Jesus. No.
So in the kitchen, they are looking, they're kind of knocking on the wood, making sure that there are studs in the walls, making sure that the structure is still sound, as the house does appear to be in a lesser condition, though you have made a lot of improvements. They check the fridge, and they see the 2 blood packs, and you see them take out an old-style Palm Pilot, and they make a notation. They put it away, and they look in the drawers, they see the wine. They take one of the bottles of wine, and they seem to stare at it for a minute, and their eyes go white, and then they stop, and they put the wine bottle back, and they continue to walk to the library with you all, and I will make their what's awareness roll for the library.
Are you actually with us now, Anton?
I imagine if there's...
You would have come into the kitchen right as they were putting the wine bottle back.
Yeah, and as they're putting the wine bottle back with their eyes white, you guys are... If you're looking at me, you're just going to see me go...
I'm gonna look at Thomasina like,
And so they get into the library,
And I'll follow.
and they look around, and they're looking at the books, and they pick a random book. Just seems to be idly checking random books, feeling along the bookcase, kind of pushing against them, seeing that there's no budge,
Well,
checking the chairs, and looks around and just calls out, "Do you feel this room is sufficient for your knowledge? Or do you think it needs a remodel?
I personally would like expansion, but I always do.
I will put in a work order. What is the next room?"
That would be mine, actually, if you would. And I will walk past the council, and I'm going to push the platform to pop the bookshelf that I guess they didn't push to see it budged, and go, thump.
is the tower gonna go down this slide? That's what I want to know.
We'll find out.
They rolled 2 successes to investigate the library, so...
So, well, there's only 2 ways into that location, and yeah, there's thunk and open, and
Ah! Secret passageway. All
He-
good homes need one.
haven within haven. If you would follow me,
Of course.
and I'll say to those I go, I will be right back, and walk down with the council.
Okay, so then the rest of us stay behind.
Well, this buys us more time.
Yeah, yeah. It's just basically to give you guys just to look up. I will be right back with the council, and walk down with them.
Okay.
Yeah, give them more time away from the council, to whatever, and lead them down the stairs.
Okay, and so they come down to the stairs to the large, empty foyer room. Just
except for the 2 covered Marys. But yeah,
there's- This is a large basement. Do you feel this is sufficient?
I appreciate it.
Wonderful. So they are going to walk into the room where the Marys used to be.
Mhm.
And they're going to notice all the platforms
Mhm.
and run their hand along the platform. What were these?
More of those, and I'll point to the Marys behind me.
Ah,
I am
a statue collector.
whoever owned the place previously. Yes,
Yes.
but
Were you friends with the previous owners? Or was this found when you moved in?
I never knew them.
Okay. They take out their Palm Pilot and make a few notes. And then they walk straight to the door on the other side of the room.
Okay. Because it's visible, so yeah.
And they open it and go in
Mm-hmm.
to see the plastination preparation room.
Mm-hmm.
And is this room in your current use, or was this more of the previous owners?
I have come here from time to time. The room existed, but I have expanded it into more practical use.
Thank you. And they're just going to turn on their heels and leave the room.
Mm-hmm.
And continue walking and walk into the crypt.
Mm-hmm.
And they're feeling the walls, making sure that it is hard stone,
Mm-hmm.
knocking on it, checking for any rot in the stone. And they are just kind of looking, checking in the crypt, seeing that there are still, like, there's dust and everything. And is this it for your room? Where do you sleep?
And I point to either of the two empty platforms, the ones that don't have dust on them.
Okay. And
But I'm not saying anything, I'm just pointing to them.
and they are going to reach and kind of
You
touch
must
them.
have 20 dice over there.
And not our preference, but we will not begrudge you yours, Tremere.
I prefer the isolation sometimes.
We are familiar with many of your kind that think this.
Are you satisfied? Would
I am satisfied with the basement. Where shall we begin next?
Perhaps the others are waiting still?
Okay.
And I will point.
And they will go right back to the stairs.
Yep. And I'll follow behind.
Okay.
So you guys have had however much time it took to do all that upstairs.
Thomasina, should we expect, I don't know, execution?
No. This has happened to me before.
I was honest.
Yes, and
You were honest.
yes.
I know Anton was honest.
So we're going to go to the next room and let them look wherever they want to, because it's going to go smoother if that happens.
I understand.
I'm gonna just do a quick scan with Oblivion Sight.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any specters or wraiths inside the manor I can see?
Mm-hmm.
Great.
The two that you are familiar with are in the manor, but they are not malevolent at this time.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, because they were allowed in by Proctor.
Get off. That's it.
Okay. And so Anton and the council come back upstairs.
Mhm.
And what will be the next room?
My room would be great.
Closed bookshelf.
And so you guys go up to Mel's room. And as you're walking, the council's kind of like jumping on the floor a little bit as you've gone upstairs now. And notating the creaks, and you can see that they're kind of making notations about like foundation and structural work needed. And so they get to Mel's room and walk in. This is very lovely, Madam Keeper. Do you find that this is sufficient given your role?
Yes, as I have a desk and an area where I can keep my things.
Humble, very quaint for a bruja. I appreciate it. And every time, and at this point, they've said it enough that you've noticed every time they've said I instead of we, one eye has flicked to blue. And so they look around and
Oh, God.
this is lovely.
Thank you.
Is there anything about your room that you have structural concern for?
I wish I had more closet space, but outside of that, no.
More closet space is always wanted. And they go and they're checking the wall, doing the same, knocking and kind of checking the baseboards, pulling up the carpet a little bit, and doing general home inspection.
Right.
All right, whose room is next?
Mine.
Okay. And so she goes to your room.
Mm-hmm.
Walks into the room and looks around and begins her home inspection checks. Checking wall, checking floor, checking the ceiling, making sure that they're not seeing like water spots from this section of the house.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything that you have concerns with?
It has a window, but
It's quite small for one of your clan.
my clan needs only what it takes.
A sentiment I have not heard before. Thank you. Where are we going next?
My room.
Okay. And the council is also like, every time they pass a light switch, they're flicking the light on and off just to make sure it works.
How many of them work?
Yeah, how many of them work?
Probably about 75% of them.
Alright.
Okay.
And each time one doesn't work, they...
We don't know what that one does.
We can find out.
I've never been able to find out.
And so they get to Aaron's room.
Okay. It's dirty, but sparse.
Yeah.
Sparse.
They walk in and... This is a gangrel room.
Mm-hmm.
Cozy. Do you feel this is appropriate, or do you prefer your residence at the gangrel compound?
This is home.
Understood. Do you feel that your accommodations provided by your primogen are insufficient, and thus you prefer this?
No. I prefer this.
Okay. And they're going to take a little bit more time looking around because they have to kick up some clothes from the ground. They have to, like, kind of move a few things to check the integrity of the room.
And Tom will give Aaron just, like, the slightest of, like, come on, dude, looks.
And they are done with your room. Where shall we go now?
Question. As the other members of our coterie were not here to receive the same generosity that you gave us, would it be more appropriate to wait until you speak with them for their locations in this haven?
For the integrity of the audit, we cannot have you warning them.
Very fair.
Your 5 minutes should have extended to your coterie.
This is why I asked.
Let's, to Hexadecimal's room.
Thank you. And they're going to walk into the room and just,
Our reaction as well.
And
I'm gonna very slightly, like, just kind of stop Aaron before he walks in.
I've already broken so many things. I owe her a gaming
Well,
station.
I mean, I don't think if it's broken if it's unplugged, right?
We don't know that.
And so they walk into the room.
Oh no.
And they're checking the walls, typical home inspection. And then they look at the outlets and they're kind of checking around the outlets. And they flick on the light and the light above doesn't turn on. And they flick it again. It doesn't turn on.
Are you familiar with hexadecimal from your record?
Yes,
Nosferatu.
childer of dot matrix.
Hence the light.
Yes, but I do need to check the electricals. And so they go down and plug in one plug. And they follow the plug. And it goes to a monitor. And they power on the monitor. Monitor comes on and does the typical bouncing around HDMI, no signal.
Mm-hmm.
You go, wonderful, it works. And they power it off. And they unplug it again. And put their hands up. Leaving as found. And Mr. Beniofftab's room.
Yes.
And
Down this way.
And so they get to Sirius's room. And they're looking and looking, inspecting, not finding too much. And they turn around smiling. They say, as expected, the Caliph informed us that he would be being given other accommodations. We will be checking those as well, but we had to check this too.
The Caliph
The Caliph.
of his clan?
My apologies. Are you unfamiliar with the Banu Hakim?
No, I am not. I was simply unaware that you spoke with, I believe the Banu Hakim are located overseas. I did not know you spoke with them before coming here.
The tower keeps track of all Banu Hakim agents that function with the Camarilla.
I see. So, speaking over to the Middle East to come to Atlanta.
Of course.
Okay.
The internet is a wonderful thing.
Of course.
Ooh,
The tower,
buddy.
my experience with the tower was less technologically inclined than it is now.
We are the council.
The Camarilla Council, not the Council.
But we are the council.
I have learned this.
Is there anything else that you have seen that you are curious about?
I see no further rooms to inspect. All that is left is for me to check the grounds. I believe you have and they pull out their Palm Pilot, a 2-car garage, a barn, and a small carriage house.
Yes, we have used the 2-car garage and we have used the barn, but I do not believe any of us have actually touched the carriage house.
No.
I have never been to the carriage house.
I will check all of them.
Very well. Simply accounting for our knowledge.
Okay.
Every time.
Every time it makes me sick.
And so they walk outside to the garage
Oh, shit.
and they look around and they're looking at the car. And was this property given to you?
Which car is it?
The Escalade.
Yes.
Yes, that is my official vehicle.
Your official vehicle.
Correct.
Keeper. Okay, thank
Yes,
you. And of the vintage car.
Also here when we arrived.
Wonderful. Your council has been quite generous to you.
Gave us what they found. Took nothing. Much appreciated. As I said, some places we have not even touched yet.
Thank you. And so they're going to start checking the ceiling, make sure that the ceiling is good, make sure that there is no oil dripping beneath the cars. And they are going to, as their eyes are scanning, stop on the flamethrower.
Yep.
Ah. And what is this?
A relic of the war.
Ah. Do you make a habit of keeping relics?
I did.
That is very Tremere of you. Is there no chantry to put it in?
It is not a Tremere relic, it is a personal one.
A personal item, thank you. I will notate that it is in your possession. Thank you. Now to the barn.
I'll let the council walk past me and just go,
All right.
and I will give a slight thumbs up to these guys as we're walking to the barn of,
Okay.
And so they get to the barn and they open the door and they seem very surprised suddenly. You said that you have used this barn
we have visited the barn, yes.
and these horses are your possessions.
Yes, each one is attached to us. It is property of each one of us.
You have papers for these horses, or are these obtained through taming wild beasts?
Came with the property, tamed on site.
Apologies, we have to ask with a gangrel in the home.
As I said, came with the property, tamed on site.
Thank you.
We like to say that they
Curious.
chose us.
Pardon me, I need to check into the previous owners. My last record said that there was no previous owner for quite a while. These horses should have easily passed by then.
Oh no, we did not find them in the barn. We found them on the property.
Ah, so wild horses wandered onto your property. You tamed them and made them your property.
I do not wish to suppose, but they may belong to somebody else and we will never know.
As you see in this area, is very rural.
Yes.
So there are lots of
Understandable.
people. Yes.
Could come from somebody, could be wild.
Yes.
We have seen many cases with sheep that are much the same.
But they are ours now.
Wonderful, thank you. No cause for concern then. And they are going to go up to Death. And
If I may, counsel,
yes,
as each one is effectively ghouled to us, they do not tend to take kindly to others, so I simply ask that you exercise caution. We do not wish repercussions.
Harm upon you.
I will.
Thank you.
And they go and they gently run their hand down the horse's nose.
Hmm?
And you see their eyes go white.
Is there something on the horse that they're touching, or is it just the flesh
Just
of the horse?
The horse itself.
On the flesh of the horse. And their eyes go white for a second. And then their eyes go black for a second.
Black is different.
And then back to normal. And they take their hand off the horse. Lovely animals. We're quite fond of them.
Wonderful.
All right, to the carriage house then.
Yes, we
Yes.
will all discover it together.
Go.
I feel like I should be texting Mark right now or something. Like, I don't know.
He'd have to run back to the property and then do
no,
something.
no.
Yep.
Or ask him if he knows anything.
None of us have checked the carriage house
No.
at all.
No. Oh God.
So you have checked the carriage house before.
I don't-
Oh, okay.
I don't,
Have we? Okay.
I don't recall.
Okay,
it, but,
storyteller,
I mean, if-
tell us what we have done that we didn't know.
We do. This is where Sirius's car was.
I thought it was the garage. My bad.
I did too. I thought it was the garage as well.
In the garage, you had your Escalade and the other fancy
I
vintage
see.
car that you
Okay.
were
All
given.
right. Yeah.
I misunderstood.
I
And
did too. That was my fault.
We'll stick with what I said, though.
And the council opens the door and goes, "Ah, another car. This one's quite nice. This one appears to be maybe a collector's item then?"
I will look in and see the car and I go, I see that one of us has used the carriage house before then.
"Ah, this is not the property of any of you four.
No.
Is this Mr. Benioff-Tubbs or Miss Hexadecimals?"
I believe it to be Mr. Benioff-Tubbs.
Yes.
Understandable. Given the nature of the Banu Hakim's contract with the Camarilla, I will inquire with his Caliph about this item before I investigate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Smart.
And so the council turns around and walks back to the foyer of the house and just, "Thank you all so much. You have been so cooperative and done so well on your first audit. We will be in touch. If you have any follow-up questions, please file them with your primogen, and we will be in touch in 1 to 2 business days."
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. And you watch as the council leaves and walks out to a very souped-up motorcycle with a helmet of black with pink smoke down it with airbrush skulls on the side. And they put on their helmet, crank up their radio with Black Flag playing, and take off into Atlanta. And it's around this time, Aaron, you get another text from a number you don't know.
It's always great.
And it says, "Hey, big brother, do your little friends know? If they don't, I might just have to tell them you've been keeping too many secrets." And that is where we are going to leave off for tonight. Thank you guys so much for joining us. And congrats on your first audit. If you are a part of our play-by-post server, your audit will be conducted this month.
Oh God, no.
We will see you guys soon. Take care of yourselves and each other. Bye.